Assalamualaikum to Puan Sohaila. My name is Niksara Batrisha binti Mansur and my group members are Nur Farzana binti Azizan, Ala Ashura binti Nur Azlan and Nur Hidayah binti Dahari. We would like to present about our case study, which is Disaster and Tragedies in Bukit Antarabangsa. We would like to choose Highland Tower. First, for the introductions, the Highland Tower collapse occurred on 11 December in 1993 in Taman Hillview, Hulu Klang, Selangor, Malaysia. The Highland Tower complex was built in phases between 1974 and 1982. It was constructed at the western base of a steeply sloped hill, terraced extensively in the early 1980s. Block 1 was the southernmost building, Block 2 was built north-northwest of Block 1, and Block 3 was built west of Block 2. The towers were home to affluent middle-class families. A sizable percentage of the residents were expatriates.
On 15 October 1994, 6 residents filed a lawsuit against the developers of Highland Tower and 8 other related parties for alleged negligence. The lawsuit sought more than 1.5 million for loss of property, property damage, rental fees, and funeral expenses. The developers and architectural team were sued for constructing the building without regard for safety. Furthermore, this has shown the challenge for an engineer to build a building firmly and design without qualification in mind and were approved by the engineers without knowledge of who designed the plan. Additionally, the construction company was found to have used substandard materials and improper welding procedures during construction. Plus, engineering challenge in constructing a large building construction like this Highland Tower, engineers need to be concerned about maintenance works such as piping and drainage system. This is the picture of Highland Tower. Is the surviving blocks 2 and 3 of the Highland Tower in 2008, similar in design to the collapsed Block 1. The date of this landslide tragedy was on 11 December 1993, which is 28 years ago. The time of the incident was at 1:35 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, noon Saturday. Location is at Highland Towers, Taman Hillview, Ulu Klang, Selangor, Malaysia. Caused landslides caused by continuous rain for 2 weeks. The landslide happened because of the unusual water levels caused change in soil moisture levels, soil structural strength, fluid content in the soil, and many other related matters. Other than that, errors in the design of the retaining wall built behind Block 1 may be among the causes of the landslide there. So, this is the picture that shows landslides occur at Highland Tower.
Case study at Highland Tower. The surviving Block 2 and 3 of the Highland Tower in 2008, similar in design to the collapsed Block 1. The date of this landslide tragedy was on 11 December 1993, which is 28 years ago. This time of the incident was at 1:35 p.m. afternoon Saturday. Location is at Highland Towers, Taman Hillview, Hulu Klang, Selangor. Caused landslide by continuous rain for 2 weeks. The landslide happened because of the unusual water level, caused change in soil moisture level, soil soil structural strength, fluid content in the soil, and many others related matters. Other than that, errors in the design of the retaining wall building behind Block 1 may be along the causes of the landslide there.
Analysis and discussion. The monsoon season in Malaysia, namely in November and December, brings extreme heavy rains every year and can cause flash floods and landslides. Block 1 of Highland Tower collapsed after the rain fell 10 days in a row, causing landslides after the retaining wall of condominium apartment collapsed. Unusual water level caused change in soil moisture levels, soil structure strength, balance of fluid content in the soil, and many other matters. The dense equatorial rainforest fills the Titiwangsa Range with its broad leaves and roots, thus being able to accommodate and receive heavy rainfall and act as a catalyst to the soil. When there are no ground cover crops, water will seep into the soil and become a lubricant to the landslide and building on it. The drainage system is imperfect in the luxury apartment area in Hulu Klang, and the drainage system is not operated systematically. The process of clearing by cutting down trees involves part of the area that causing it to form drainage target from the top of the hill directly to nearby areas and apartments. In 1992, there was video footage showing water flowing down from a hillside around the Highland Tower condominium during heavy rain. A year before the tragedy, water pouring from the hillside toward Block C of the condominium and the ground floor of the block's parking lot was covered in mud. Drains to drain water from sewer pipes on the hillside to the main ditch in front of the Highland Tower block were not constructed. Some people have said that their superiors have not stopped the construction of the Highland Towers condominium, even though the developer failed to submit a drainage plan to drain water from the area to Sungai Ulu Klang, the master system to be built for the entire area. The hilly topography of the area, geological conditions, and unstable soil types also encourage landslides. A geologist from a university stated the soil was not strong rock but a soil mixed with sand. These include Bukit Antarabangsa, Taman Tun Abdul Razak, Taman Hillview, and Bukit Indah. Construction of the building was brisk and there was no slope monitoring by the authorities. Housing developers are lobbying to develop Scale 3 and Scale 4 slopes on the pretext of using the latest slope buffer technology. The slopes of the hill are directed in an extreme way. The trees that are the pack of the earth and the grass that covers the earth are not well maintained. The state government cannot cancel a development contract that has been awarded to a developer because it involves legal implications. Developers who suffer losses in terms of land costs, architecture costs, and building materials will certainly sue the authorities. They also lobbied politicians to put pressure on district officials, land office, and so on. They have forgotten things that are sure not happen in another 10 to 20 years. Furthermore, there was the approval of an allocation of 89 million ringgit to pay for the cost of acquiring the Highland Towers land from the state government. Then the land on which of 3 blocks are located will become the property of the federal government. Once the money is approved, the process will run and the block can be demolished, and after that, development can begin. In August 2018, the government once proposed the Highland Tower site be redeveloped as a recreational park location. The proposal was made given that the land structure in the area is not suitable for housing construction.
Further investigation. In 11 December 1993, the Highland Tower Block 8 apartment in Hillview Park, Hulu Klang collapsed at 1:35 p.m. The victim, who lived for 14 years on the 4th floor of Block A of the 12-story condominium, stated he returned from work at 1:30 p.m. 5 minutes before the tragedies occurred. Next, 11 December 1993, residents of Block B and C of Highland Tower in Taman Hillview, Hulu Kelang, were ordered to vacate their home due to unsafe condition. Search and rescue teams from Britain and the United States arrived to help. At 14 October 1997, the former president of the Pertubuhan Architect Malaysia, PAM, told the Kuala Lumpur Coroner's Court that the draftman of the collapsed Highland Tower apartment was unqualified for a 12-story building. Coroners from the Kuala Lumpur Coroner's Court rules that the Highland Tower tragedy was not due to any element of crime and natural disaster, but was a double accident and injury that befell them after the apartment collapsed. At 18 February 2006, the Federal Court unanimously rules that the Ampang Jaya Municipal Council MPAJ, Kompak District Council MDG, or any local government have the immunity and protection of Section 95(2) of the Road, Drain and Building Act 1974 from any claim before collapse. Some parties decided to MPAJ was not responsible for the loss before and after the condominium collapsed.
Rig slope areas throughout the country are now the main focus of all parties. Most developers across the country are instructed to take precautionary measures to prevent landslides from occurring at their construction sites, especially for projects on high risks slopes and hills such as Highland Towers, whose areas are on high ground. Construction of the building is brisk and there is no slope monitoring by municipal council. The slopes of the hills are directed in an extreme way. The trees that are the peaks of the earth and the grass cover the earth are not well maintained. The actions that need to be taken to deal with disasters such as landslides are the Ministry of Works needs to work with the Meteorological Department to develop a landslide early warning system to prevent the possibility of any life-threatening disasters during the monsoon seasons. This is because the monsoon in Malaysia, which is November and December, brings extreme heavy rains every year and can cause floods, flash floods, and landslides. Block 1 of Highland Towers collapsed after rain that fell 10 days in a row caused landslides after the retaining wall of the condominium car park collapsed. The Public Works Department also needs to discuss with the National Security Council, which is MKN, and the Malaysian Civil Defence Department (JPAM) regarding emergency response during natural disasters. Also, other actions that can be taken are that when it rains, some signs that need to be noted include brown water flowing from the hill or the presence of rocks on the ground.
The responsible party needs to take a role to solve this landslide problem because it is not an acute problem for our country. Landslide problems like in Highland Tower often occur in other places as well, especially in hilly areas. So, another suggestion that can be considered for overcoming the problem of landslides in Highland Tower is to make a larger drainage system to suit the size of the building being built. A larger drainage system can help smooth the flow of water quickly. This can help the water flow run smoothly when there is prolonged heavy rain because Malaysia is a country located close to the equator and also have 4 seasons, namely autumn, cold, flower and summer. As is well known, every year Malaysia will experience heavy and prolonged rains resulting in floods. So, this is clear the cause of the landslide in Highland Tower due to prolonged rain, and the ground is not able to support the building because this incident occurred at the end of the year, which is 11 December 1993. Therefore, parties involved in the construction of this building, such as engineers and architects, need to build a large drainage system or water flow to be able to accommodate a lot of amount of water at a time. Next, we can also plant plants or green trees around the building to accommodate or support the building structure. This is because the function of the roots of each tree is to be able to grip the soil. Indirectly, it can also shape the ecological integrity of an area. So, with this, we can control soil erosion that may occur. In addition, the authorities need to perform maintenance of the building structure after the building is complete at least 3 months after the building is complete to review the usability or impact of the use of each structure, whether is suitable or inappropriate. For example, drainage system and a retaining wall structure so that we can improve weaknesses. Therefore, every year, we also need to make maintenance of the building structure, such as cleaning the drainage system so that the water flow system can run smoothly because the building is built in hilly areas. So, the water flow system must be carefully controlled because water is a major factor in landslides hilly areas.
In conclusion, from this case study of the Highland Tower building, we can find out about the cause of the landslide tragedy that occurred there. There are some problems in maintenance and geology that are not responsibility of the relevant parties. With this problem, there are a variety of tragic injuries and deaths. Therefore, we can find out about the actions and initial steps that need to be done before building large and tall buildings in high-risk areas. As a safety measure, we need to avoid building a building on the slopes and slopes of hills because in the area it is very easy to be hit by disasters such as flash floods, and landslides. This is our reference of our case study.